Greetings, family, and welcome to Live with Shatufa. I hope you had once again a very blessed day. We are meeting once again on this platform, on this show, where we are talking about issues that are happening in our nation as well as in the neighboring countries around us. We are seeing quite a lot of disturbing news coming from Kenya, as if it's not enough what we have seen happening in Kenya with William Ruto and all the evil that we saw him doing. But it seems like he's still ongoing with his evil. And I don't know where he thinks he's going to end when we look at the way that he's carrying himself, especially when Kenyans are actually saying that they've had enough of him. William Ruto abducts a Kenyan opposition leader and keeps him under Ugandan military watch. And this is very disturbing when we look at how this man came into power, how this man looked like he was one of us, one of the Christians and God-fearing men. And he's coming in, we really regret it. I remember I was one of the people that really celebrated the winning of William Ruto, where we thought that the children of God are beginning to take over the reins of power in these different nations. And instead, what he has turned out to be is exactly the same thing that we have seen with the Lazarus Chakwera in Malawi, who has also abused the name of the Lord in campaigning, and people thinking that he was going to be standing for what is right and only to be turning worse than the Mutarikas. Right. So that's exactly the same situation that we are seeing happening in Kenya. And we have seen David Coulthard also commenting about the abduction of this man who also happens to be very vocal and an outspoken person for the freedom of the Kenyan people. Bobby Wine here has written that the news of the disappearance and abduction of Dr. Kizza from Kenya is of greatest concern. According to his family, Dr. Besigye was abducted on Saturday in Nairobi and is suspected to be under military detention here in Uganda. This is most unfortunate. A few months ago, 36 other activists were abducted from Nairobi and brought back to Uganda in utter violation of the law. As we speak, he says, as we call for his immediate release, we condemn his blatant abuse of the law by the regime here in Uganda, and sadly the authorities in Kenya. We are back to the dark days when Ugandans were casually picked from the streets of Nairobi and returned to Uganda to be tortured, jailed, and others executed. The abduction of Ugandan citizens from Kenya and handing them over to the regime in Uganda without following extradition laws must be condemned by all people of good conscience. Right. So this is what is happening, and this is the man who happens to be a citizen of Uganda, and it is very sad, really, that people that are trying to seek refuge and are opposition leaders are taken and given back to the regime because of what William Ruto is also turning himself to be. You know, it's so surprising that a man like Ruto, who was never a president before, who was never within the circles, of power, would come into power. And when did he start to be a friend of Yoweri Museveni? All of a sudden, especially with the record of Museveni of atrocities and dictatorship, when did these people become friends to the point of now helping each other in making sure that they continue to push the agenda of human rights abuses? And it's so sickening and surprising what is really happening here. But the truth of the matter is that we are just beginning to see ruthlessness happening all over. And what is happening is also a sign that we continue to see the deterioration of democracy, and we continue to see also the hand of evil taking over, and many of the people that are innocent are being abducted and destroyed, and their lives, being put into jeopardy, all because of these selfish leaders who don't want to see freedom of other people, who don't want to see human rights activists, who don't want to see people that are standing for what is right, all because they know that their rule is actually an illegal kind of rule. They are not wanted by their people. They don't have the mandate of the people to do what they are doing, and they continue to abuse and abuse power to this point. And this is very sad and very, very unfortunate. But well, what can we do? We just have to continue to call for Ugandan people to rise and for their rights and for their freedom. Kenyan people also must continue to unite and fight and make sure that they free themselves from this oppression that we continue to see happening from a government and a leader who has been rejected by the people, and he has taken it to himself to take away lives, allowing live ammunition to be used. You still remember in those demonstrations that happened in Kenya, where many people were being shot by live ammunition at the instruction of William Ruto and his illegal government. And that is really very unfortunate. And some of these people are those leaders that are going to answer painfully for what they are doing, the human rights abuses that they are perpetrating against their own people right now as we speak. So this is the situation, and we want to continue to call for the release of all those that are detained, all those that are being illegally arrested, and all those that are being tortured for political reasons or for fighting for democracy or for human rights. And all these governments that are illegal must not continue to exist. Their people must continue to fight, and we also are also part of the African community must join hands. Political opposition must join hands and also speak with one voice and call out these illegal governments that are doing such rogue activities. Then that is only when we can win this war against the rogue and illegal regimes that we are also seeing happening in SADC countries with the liberation parties, as well as with ZANU-PF in our case in Zimbabwe. So we are with the Ugandan people, we are with the Mozambican people in our prayers, and believing that their freedom is also not very far from now, and we will definitely see an Africa that is free, Africa that is developing, that is full of democratic forces leading their people to prosperity. Otherwise, this is what it is, family. Thank you so much for joining me on this show. We will continue to be giving you updates of what is happening around our nation and all over the world as we continue to get the information of what is happening around us. Thank you so much for joining us on this very platform. Continue to subscribe to this show and like and also share. Put a comment and also support this platform. We want to see this platform also growing, just like the main channel, Chatufa Television Production. Thank you so much, and you are blessed.